Good morning, Primary 5. Today is Friday, the 7th of April 2021. And our first subject for today is social studies, and the topic is how pots affect the environment. How pots affect the environment. But before we go to this topic of today, it is good for us to take a little flashback on what we saw in social studies in our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we were looking at how big pots, how settlements have developed on the coast. How settlements have developed on the coast. And we're actually looking at what has caused towns, fishing villages, and industries to develop on the coast. What has caused what? Industries, fishing villages, cities, and towns to develop on most coasts. And we saw three basic reasons why industries, fishing villages, and cities have developed on the coast. And the first was what? Natural deep water. Natural deep water. And we said those areas of the coast which are sheltered, have natural deep water. This natural deep water is a very good place for the launching of ships and boats. It is a good place for the launching of ships and boats. So places with natural deep water led to the development of towns, cities, and industries, and even fishing villages. And we saw examples. Portsmouth in southern England. Portsmouth in southern England is one of those places or the cities that have developed due to the availability of deep water where boats and ships can launch. The second example is Sydney in Australia. Sydney in Australia is another city, major city that has grown because of the availability of deep water where ships and boats can launch. And the last one is Vancouver in Canada. So we have three major cities in the world that have developed because of the availability of deep water where ships and boats could launch. And these are Portsmouth in southern England, Sydney in Australia, and Vancouver in Canada. We look at the second reason why settlements grow at the coast. Why most settlements, or most cities, or most industries, or most fishing villages have grown on the coast. We say the mouth of rivers. The mouth of rivers. First of all, what is the mouth of a river? The mouth of a river is the place where a river enters into the ocean or into a sea. When a river enters into an ocean or a sea, we call it the mouth of the river. As the river is trying to enter the ocean or the sea, in such a place, it is easy for people to cross using a bridge. People can cross where a bridge is built or a fort is built. So most settlements grow up around this area where people can easily cross the mouth of the river using a bridge or a fort. Example of such towns and cities that have developed at the mouth of rivers. We have Bristol, London, and New York. Bristol, London, and New York. And it is good for you to remember that Bristol, London, and New York City are found in places where land and sea route meet together. Wherever there is that place where land and sea route join together, great ports and cities have developed. Great cities, towns, and ports have developed where sea routes meet with the land route. And the last one was important resources. Some settlements, cities, towns, industrial city, fishing villages have developed in places on the coast where there was the availability of natural resources. You can mention gold. It could be gold, it could be diamond, it could be salt, it could be fish, because fish too is a natural resource. So where there was this availability of natural resources or nearby industries, many people came to settle there, either to work in the industries the raw materials, the raw resources that were available in that place. Let us look at such examples. Such examples we have sows in Aberdeen, Scotland. What are sows? Sows are a group of fish that swim together, large, huge group of fish that swim together. Because of the availability of these in Aberdeen in Scotland, Aberdeen became a major industrial town and city. Aberdeen became a major industrial town and city, and even a major port. We also see the supply of what? Coal in nearby Cardiff. Cardiff is in South Wales in England. Because there was a supply of coal in Cardiff in South Wales, Cardiff became a major industrial city and seaport. Let us now go to our topic of today, which is how ports affect our environment. How ports affect our environment. You first of all have to understand that major cities, ports in the world, the biggest ports in the world, are found at places known as estuaries. 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 What are estuaries? Estuaries are the mouth of a river. The mouth of a river. So these big ports that are found at the mouth of the river, examples of such ports are Dublin in Ireland and Buenos Aires in Argentina. Dublin in Ireland and Buenos Aires in Argentina. These places have grown on estuaries, the place where the river enters the sea. Because the river is flowing into the sea, and the sea waves are also coming, they block a lot of materials here. This material is blocked and water can begin to circulate around the water entering the sea. This one becomes something like a little island. And because of the materials that are deposited here by the river that is being pushed back by the sea, and the material is supposed to deposit here, this material is very fertile. And as the material is fertile, many plants grow on these materials. This becomes maybe a piece of land where you can also find animals, wildlife, plants, they grow here. And as they are growing here, they now shelter this place. As they shelter this place, it becomes a good harbor, a deep sea, deep water harbor where ships and boats can anchor. And what happens? It will now attract people to come and build a port. As they are going to build a seaport here, what is going to happen to the trees? They will cut down the trees, they will destroy the habitat of the animals, and they will destroy all the wildlife that is going around here. So to make this place good for a port. So what happens? Because of trying to build a port, trying to develop a port at the estuary of rivers, land, natural resources that were on the land, wildlife, and other things are being destroyed. So this is how we see that ports affect the environment around which they are being built. Another thing is that at these same ports, industries are going to develop. Industries, oil refineries. These oil refineries will be trying to carry their raw materials to bring them over here where they can be refined and then exploited. And what is going to happen? We are going to have pollution. What type of pollution? Air pollution, water pollution. We have what we call oil spill. So these type of things are going to help to pollute and contaminate what? The port and the coast. So human activities in trying to transform the coast to build ports where ships can anchor, they indirectly destroy the natural plants, wildlife, and many other things that we found naturally at the estuaries where these ports are being developed. For your reminder, we are not having our face-to-face classes. Endeavor to copy your notes, endeavor to do all the exercises I've given you, and above all, endeavor to watch this video. Watch it over and over again so that you can understand from the demonstrations. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.